Yeah, my name is Seth Panyako. I'm the current General Secretary for Kenya National Union of Nurses, and I'm also a politician. There are many issues that the people on the ground feel have not been properly done in the last 9 years. Our people of Malava believe that they had proper leadership the last 9 years when we had the late Honorable Soita Shitanda as Member of Parliament for Malava. From that time, the people of Malava believe the current Member of Parliament has been a pale shadow of the Member of Parliament they have ever known before. He has failed to offer direction as a leader. He has failed to influence development projects in the community. He has not been able to offer proper guidance in terms of all aspects of leadership, and therefore people feel like there is a leadership vacuum, and that is why they feel he has done his 2 terms. He should be resting, and therefore they need a person who can bring the new change and offer leadership, guide the community, work with the community to address the issues which are affecting them. There are quite a number of issues which are affecting them that the current Member of Parliament has not been able to perform. His main duties has been going to funerals and building 2 classrooms. And 2 classrooms are things that you are doing it from the national government constituency development fund. So it's not something you can go about talking about it. As a leader, you must exhibit leadership beyond what's provided for by the law. Yeah.
So, maybe you tell us, which area do you see he did not perform well that you want to go and change?
The current Member of Parliament has substantively not performed well in any of the areas. When you look at education, when he came in as a Member of Parliament, Malava was doing very well academically. We were in top 3 out of the 12 constituencies. But today we lead from behind. We are always number 10 out of 12. So basically when you mark him on that performance alone, he has failed. You remember, education is a national function. So when it's not performing well, the national organs come in play. And the National Constituency Development Fund, a large chunk of it, he has said he has been investing in education. And we don't see the outcome of that investment. Even when you look at the infrastructure in our schools, when you compare Malava constituency with the surrounding constituencies like Ikolomani, like Lorambi, you see the infrastructure in schools in terms of the types of schools that are there. There's a great improvement. You see, like there are flats in the schools, like story building. You find that they are in those constituencies, in at least every ward, you'll find like there is a story building, because our land is not expanding, and we need now to expand our classrooms as we go up. But our Member of Parliament has not been able to build even a single story building in Malava constituencies. When you compare him with people like Kinadit Masbarasa, people like Washiali, people like this MP for Ikoloman, you cannot match him with anybody. So in fact, in terms of infrastructure, is not done well. Malava has remained one of the constituencies where closure of schools because of lack of toilets has been on the rise, has been in the media all through. And because he has not been able to involve the public. CDF is a public fund, and the law requires that there should be public participation. In fact, the only promise I'm giving my people is that there will be public participation. It is the people to decide what they want. For example, why will I go and build a classroom in a school that does not have toilets? One of the things we will do in our leadership is to involve other arms of government, like the health department, to assess the status of the schools in Malava, and then come up and say, these are the schools we have, this type of schools, number of schools don't have toilets, this number of schools, children are learning under trees, this number of schools, they are in bad shape, maybe they have cracks, they can fall on, there are health hazard to the children. And then through public participation, we'll have a meeting where all stakeholders, the leaders of teachers in the education sector, religious leaders, the farmers, and opinion leaders, and the elders, the council of elders, we bring them together and we say, look here, this is the status of our schools in Malava. where do you want us to begin? Then they will tell you, let us first clear maybe they'll say, instead of us having some schools without toilets, so that the public health department come and close them down so that our children lose time in school, let us first have all the schools have toilets, so that we are assured that none of our schools will be closed down. But that should come from the people. Then they will tell you, we need to have a story classrooms maybe at these particular schools. Then of course you have to guide them in relation to the resources which you have. Of course you can't also allow the people just to demand what you cannot offer. So when they say that, you now use the experts to now look at the funds, look at what one age wants, go through it through a strategic plan, come back with the people and tell them, from what you told me, this is the strategic plan that we have come about, this is what we are going to do. We are going to do borehole here, we are going to do schools here, story building here, we are going to repair these schools, we are going to do toilets here, so that the wananchi will know within a period of 5 years that there is a plan on what is going to happen, and time frame has been given, so that they can also say that now this is what we want, we can actually charge you on this. But things the way they are, there's no public participation. When you pick up something like Passer Fund, because there's money allocated to Passer Fund. You see a member of parliament allocating a child 2,000 shillings, a child who's in a boarding school where he's supposed to pay 45,000 shillings. So when you pay 2,000 out of 45, and this is a poor child, where will the family get for 3,000 shillings? And that one follows quickly that sugarcane farming, which is the backbone of the Malava people, they have problems getting permits to harvest their sugarcane. So when you give them 2,000 shillings, and when they ask you that our sugarcane is not being harvested, then you say, that is not my responsibility. Where do you live this Kenyan? So it's very important as a member of parliament to ensure that the 2 factories you have in Malava serve the people of Malava, because they didn't come to Malava by accident. They came there to help the small-scale farmers of Malava. And it will be upon my office to ensure that the farmers get their permit to harvest their sugarcane on time. No farmer will have his or her sugarcane being spoiled in the farm when we have 2 factories within Malava constituency. That will be my responsibility as a member of parliament, and I know it's doable. I don't need to go to parliament. I don't need an act of parliament. I only need my legs, my brains, and my ability to walk to the factories and get those permits for my people, and of course have an agreement with the factory owners on how they'll go about this. We do not want to have children staying home and you have sugarcane and 2 factories are here. I will ensure in my leadership that farmers do enjoy the privilege of having those 2 companies around. We will also be looking at the possibility of the farmers having value added, because you cannot have a factory once a farmer is paid for a tonnage. They are paying 4,200 after the minister increased the other day, but it was 3,000 around 200, and the late so it left it at 6,000 shillings. So one of the questions will be asking, why did it go down instead of going up? Because the price of sugar on the table has never been going down, it has always been going up. So we need to open a forum where, through my leadership, where the wananchi in Malava can be able to engage the factory, because the liberalized market, they are able to negotiate with them on the prices through my leadership. That forum has to be provided by leadership. 2, we want to see, you see a factory like a company like Brookside, which is owned by the First family. At the end of the year, COVID came and disrupted a little bit, but at the end of the year they are doing the profits. When they get the profits, they say, look here, this is what we have made in the profits. We want to get back to the farmers. So they get a bit of those profits and they give back to the farmers who supplied milk to them. But in sugar industry, first, the farmer doesn't know, even when the sugarcane has been taken, even when they weigh, you don't know how many tonnage comes out of what has been taken from your farm. 2, you have no powers to you don't get even what we can call dividends from the profit that are made, what we will call boom in tea sector, and as well as coffee sector. So I think sugarcane farmers in this country are the most frustrated lot. But in my leadership in Malava, I'll struggle to ensure that is done. Something else that we can do, though private business, is that we have other products that can be made from sugar. For example, sweets, glucose, even packaging of the sugar itself. You stand here in Nairobi. Why can't we have a factory that can be able to do those things? You package sugar in Malava, and then you do sweet, then you do glucose. That creates employment for our people within Malava constituency. And that's all. That's what can I say about sugarcane farming. And of course, we will be introducing our farmers to alternative also, slowly as time goes by. Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully, after August, you might be the member of parliament of Malava. What laws will be guiding you as the chief legislator?
You know, the laws that govern this country are known to everybody. The principal law is the Constitution of Kenya. Everybody must be versed with the provision of the Constitution of Kenya. All other laws are what we call statutory laws, are generated based on the provision of the Constitution. So there are very, very many laws. We have the Election Act, we have the Ethics and Corruption Commission, we have National Government Constituent Development Fund, National Government Constituency Development Fund Act, we have got the Election Act, we have the Political Parties Act, we have got the Ethics and Corruption. All those acts will guide everybody. Now, as a legislator, you legislate on all the laws. And one of the main, of course, the main responsibility for a legislator is supposed to make laws. But in Kenya, we have other added responsibilities. Like when I talk about Constituent Development Fund, it shouldn't be a responsibility of a legislator, because a legislator ideally is supposed to oversight. But when you are the one implementing projects, how would you oversight yourself? But this is Kenya, and those are our laws, and that's what we do. So we will try to oversight ourselves as we implement the National Constituency Development Fund. So all those laws, there are very many laws. There's Health Act, all that. These are laws. They are guided, because a legislator, a member of parliament, you have to ensure that the organs that implement the laws are implementing within the provision of the law. Because if they don't do it, you call them to come to parliament. If the Inspector General of Police is not using his work, you will use the act governing his office to summon him in parliament. So a member of parliament, there's no single law that you can say will operate within this law and outside within this law. All the laws, all of them that govern this country are laws that members of parliament are supposed to work within. Even land laws, even an act, if you go start grabbing somebody's land because you are a legislator, they will send you to prison. So there is no law that that is out and is not supposed to be obeyed, or a member of parliament is not supposed to work within. Parliament make laws, but when they make those laws, they are subject to those laws. Yeah.
Allow me to ask this: you've been in the health sector for a while. Maybe what is your plan for health in respect to the following building blocks? That is human resource for health and service delivery.
You see, health is largely a devolved function. It's a shared function. People say erroneously that it's a devolved function. It's not a devolved function. Health is a shared function, because we have some functions which are still with the national government, and we have functions which were transferred to the county government. So basically, we have the county health facilities which are run by the county governments, and we have a small bit of it, about 5%. That's including health policy, as well as the national referral health facilities which are managed by the national government. So the function of a member of parliament is to legislate, and health has had many issues of human resource. I'll be guiding my colleagues and lobbying for my colleagues we amend the constitution to introduce the Health Service Commission, which will resolve the many myriad issues that have been docking health sector in terms of human resource for health since the devolution. And that will be one of the areas where I will put my effort to ensure that health workers are not treated like they're not Kenyans, because every time they don't get salary, they have to go on the street because of salary. Here 6 months they have not earned salary, others 2 months. When they ask for it, they say we are not going to work. Another issue comes in again, they are dismissed, they are irregularly and erroneously, and our courts have not been of any, sometimes not of help to health workers, because our courts sometimes get compromised. Like some courts do things which you don't believe. So we need legislation that will bring up the Health Service Commission. I know it's a tall order, because we will want to go through a referendum, but it is something, a journey that I'll be willing to walk with my colleagues when I'm elected in parliament.
All right. During the first 100 days in office, what do you wish to achieve in the shortest time possible?
The first 100 days in office, I have said, will be the time to give back the constituency to the people. because currently as we stand, Malava constituency belongs to one person, a member of parliament, who decides everything that should be done. So for the first 100 days, I will struggle to return the constituency back to the people of Malava, so that the development project that we shall be doing should be development projects that are geared towards meeting the needs of the people through the bottom-up economic approach, where the wananchi will be the one to guide us on guide my office on what should be done. That to me is very critical, that development projects must be driven by wananchi themselves and not the other way around. So I come from an area where many people live below the line of poverty, and therefore, as I have earlier said, within the first 100 days, as you are asking, I will not be able to tell you anything, because I've already said that it's wananchi who are going to tell me what they want me to do within the first 100 days. If I told you I'm going to do this, then I'll be going back to the current system where people are not involved. Yeah. I have told you, in my leadership, it is people-driven. Public participation. The agenda must be driven by the people. In my campaign team, I already have youths who are leading the campaigns, and they are very enthusiastic about my recognition for them as people who are playing key role in the society. For example, youth identification of talents and development of the talents among the youths is one of the things that must be done. Today, we don't have even a playground for youth in Malava constituency. We don't have in a social hall for development of talents. I mean, we do not have a place where youth can say, I feel like I can be a boxer. You go there and you can start practicing. We will. Of course, I believe this should come from the youths. But the fact that I'm a leader, I must also have a rough idea of what should be done. We must generate a talent identification, nurturing and development center, which will ensure that youth equally compete in terms of talents across the world. We know some of the best employment opportunities is athletics, football. So if we don't have proper facilities, we may not have our children competing effectively in those what we will call extracurricular activities. So that will be one of the things. We will be also looking for a way of getting land to put up a stadium for Malava constituency. That will basically still be part of the youth. We don't have a tournament sponsored by a member of parliament, while every financial year we have 1 million that is supposed to be set aside for sports, and we have 1.5 million that is set aside for environment. So through public participation, we will be even religious organization. Constituency Development Fund does not say buildings, constituency national government school construction fund. It's a constituency development fund. It's a CDF is constituency development fund. So a constituency is a holistic institution. You cannot just look at one aspect of it, and that's why we're saying even religious leaders must come on the table and tell us what they expect from the CDF, because CDF is not about just building 2 classrooms and maybe I don't know else, going to funerals, maybe getting some money through kickbacks and taking funerals and say you are doing some work. We will involve everybody. We want religious leaders to come and tell us what role do they want the CDF to play in you see right now how many issues of suicide. You see our police officers are killing themselves, even doctors are committing suicide, maybe because we are not paying special attention to religion, because religion plays a crucial role in our mental status. So all those things, I still insist and I still repeat that we will have a strategic plan that will come from wananchi through public participation, which is a requirement of the law. But some people have taken it upon themselves to manage these funds as if it was personal property. You sit in your house with your wife and you decide that such and such a child will get 2,000 shillings, the other one 3, and then there are cocoons around them. Like the people working in the CDF office today in Malava, you see they are getting up to that 5,000, about 7 people for bursary fund. And they are the same people who are being given contracts to build schools and do roads, care. While these same people are also are school principals. So you realize that a young man was finished university and he has done engineering, is in the village, maybe does not have a job. We have those from TTI, technical training institutions, who have masonry, who have carpentry, who have done electricity. These are young people who can build classrooms. And yet they're not given these jobs. They are in the village doing nothing. And yet somebody who has a job is being given more jobs because of closeness to the minister, to the member of parliament, and also the arrangement of giving me something small, give me a kickback so that maybe I go to the funeral. In my leadership, there will be nothing like that. In fact, I'll play the role of oversight. Because if you get involved in the business of dishing out contracts, if the work's not done properly, who's going to oversight them? So for me, I believe I want to serve my people. It's not the other day I told some people that it's not like I'm not looking for a job. The job I have is very good and I'm well paid. So what I want is to serve my people. Yeah.
So maybe you're cutting short.
Yes.
You talk directly to the people of Malava. Why should they elect you apart from other contestants?
Of course, the people of Malava, you have already acknowledged that I have the leadership qualities that you want, and I have promised you one thing only, that I will take back the constituency back to you. You will control the development project that will come through the National Constituency Development Fund, through public participation, because this is your fund. It's not a fund that belongs to a member of parliament, and therefore I would like you to give me this chance, not because I'm the best, but because I think it's my time. And I can assure you that when you give me this time, one of the roles I'll play is to nurture young people, so that as I exit the leadership, because if I do very well, I can assure you I'll only go for 2 terms, because I am able to grow and look for leadership elsewhere. I don't want to remain there and remain be a member of parliament and fight for it as if I cannot grow and advance in other areas. So if I do very well, the maximum I can go is 2 terms. But I promise you, I'm taking this constituency back to the people of Malava through public participations, so that we can improve all aspects of our well-being as residents of Malava.